Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. Certainly want you to subscribe, like, comment below. We're trying to do some really good charitable work with the channel, but we need 1,000 subscribers to begin to be able to do that. So you hitting the subscribe button really helps, and that would be useful to us. Today we're going to talk about something that I deal a lot with. As a relationship coach, one of the things I deal a lot with is relationships, and it would be surprising. I would say 2/3 of them, folks that I deal with, are in at least one, if not more than one, unhealthy relationship. For the purposes of this audio, I'm going to talk about romantic relationships that are unhealthy. I'm going to talk about 11 signs that you have an unhealthy romantic relationship or romantic attachment. And by the way, don't feel bad. Like I said, 2/3 of the people I deal with, and I've worked with 15,000 people all over the world, 2/3 of them, I would say, have had an unhealthy relationship. And I'd say of that 2/3, more than half of them, their unhealthy relationship core is in the romantic sector of their life. And I think a lot of it has to do with relationship dependency and a whole bunch of other issues, but that's a different video for a different day. But how can you know if you're into or getting into the territory of dealing with an unhealthy relationship? So some of these are going to seem easy. Others of these are going to be a little more nuanced. But the first one is really easy. If you're fighting all the time, it's unhealthy. Look, couples disagree. And unfortunately, couples disagree more than they ought to, because a lot of times if a person is dealing with emotional trauma wounds, they expect their partner to be the solution to their problems, to make them always feel good, to make them behave in a certain way, give them hope, give them security, give them a variety of experience, make them feel significant, or any of the other human needs. The problem is, this is, especially if it's undefined or if it's not a person's natural inclination in life to do that, to be the giver, to be the sacrificer. When they realize that they no longer want to do this, usually that happens within the first 3 to 6 months of a relationship, then fighting ensues. And if you're fighting on a consistent basis, daily or several times a week, you're in an unhealthy relationship. And it does not matter how much you profess to love each other. Fighting is not a sign of love if it's so consistent that it's the most dominant thing you do in your relationship. Another thing is, hiding lies or hiding half-truths or hiding untruths. If a person is constantly living a life or experiencing and expressing themselves in a way that does not live up to be authentically part of who they are, and they're hiding parts of themselves in a relationship, this is an unhealthy relationship. Now, obviously, the most extreme version of this is if someone is living a double life, but if they're constantly not willing to show you their phone or show you their emails or talk to their friends when you're around or let you meet their friends or their family, if they are hiding you away from the rest of their lives or compartmentalizing your relationships and you're hidden, that's an unhealthy relationship, because sooner or later one of two things is going to happen. You're going to be thrown into a world that you're not ready for. In other words, everything that they've hidden from you is suddenly comes to light, and you realize, wait, the person I thought I knew and the person they are totally different. Or the other side, which is they've decided you're not going to know a good bit of their life. You're not going to know their work life or their friends or their family or whatever it is that they're putting blocks on about. And in not allowing you to know that, and not allowing you to experience that, they've made a decision to put emotional brakes on the relationship, and so that's an interesting thing to consider. Is the relationship one-sided? Are you doing all the emotional work? Are you doing all the acts of kindness? Are you, giving emotionally on a consistent basis and not receiving? Are you the one initiating physical intimacy and it's consistent? Yeah, these are signs you're in an unhealthy relationship. Lasting relationships only last when there's a volley, that is a give and take, of investment emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, between two people. If it stops becoming a volley, and I say this all the time, and when it clicks for people, it's really powerful. But until it clicks for people, it can be quite frustrating. And the idea is, when you are the only one giving, then you are the only one invested in the relationship. And when a relationship is healthy, it's give and take, give and take, give and take. Now, that doesn't mean that your partner or yourself can't have a bad day or a bad week, or sometimes, in rare, unfortunate cases, even a bad month if there's something traumatic that's happened. But if if you go through several months of being the one to overgive, 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 that's become an unhealthy relationship because you're not getting a return on your investment. And the investment can be of time, of energy, of love, of commitment, of money, all sorts of things that we can invest into a relationship. But when you're not getting a return for an extended period of time, there are problems. Guilt. Guilt is a huge one, really huge. Guilt is huge because if you're constantly feeling guilty over things that you might have done, or things that a person says you did, or the way that you supposedly made them feel, or what you made them think, and the blame game is on, and you feel guilty all the time, you're in an unhealthy relationship, and you're also most likely in an abusive one too. People who are highly abusive will make you second guess your own ability to have your own opinions, will make you second guess your own ability to make your own decisions, and that ultimately comes down to you're feeling guilty and negative the majority of the time. Another thing with that overlaps is, are they insulting you? Are they gaslighting you? Are they making you question your own value on a consistent basis? If they are, I don't care what they're saying when times are good. It's an unhealthy relationship because no one should have or be given the power to make you see yourself in a negative light. Look, everyone has had that friend or that lover who makes a negative comment here or there. Things happen, things get misunderstood, things occur that are less than friendly. But when insults become the norm or become natural, that's a problem, and there's reason to get out. Relationships require sacrifice. And so, if you're dealing with a partner who's not willing to make sacrifices, it's time to run far, fast, and away. Um, obviously, different people are willing to sacrifice different things. I've been in situations in my own life where I've literally given up, and I look back at this now and realize how silly it was. But I've given up professional and personal dreams to save or continue relationships. Where I am now at almost 40, I'd never do that. But at a younger point, or because of the depth of what I thought I had in a relationship, I did that multiple times, and I'm through it now. But there was a long period of time where I wanted to turn back time, and I wanted to get my time back for those losses. And so, if a person's not willing to sacrifice time with you, or they're not willing to sacrifice to improve your quality of life, then it's a bad relationship, and it's time to walk away. Constant insecurity is another sign. Do you have security, or do you feel insecure in your relationship? If you can honestly say you don't know where you stand, or you wonder where you stand, or you wonder why you're there, or you have more questions than answers, it's time to walk away. A strong relationship has a foundation of trust. Without trust, you really don't have a relationship. And insecurity is a huge red flag when it comes to the idea of trust. And again, with no trust, there's no relationship. Actually, what happens in those situations usually is another thing I want to talk about here, and that's codependency. So, codependency is the idea that you cannot live without, or thrive without, or succeed without another person. There is no time that codependency is healthy, right? So, independence is the idea we can handle everything on our own, which is good in some scenarios, but not good for our social development. Codependency is the idea we cannot do anything on our own without our partner's approval. Again, unhealthy. Proper social dynamics is interdependency. There are things I need you for, there are things you need me for. We both walk away better people because we're meeting the needs of we're having our own needs met and meeting the needs of others. That's a healthy relationship dynamic and one that people are struggling to maintain. Any form of abuse, I mean, that should go without saying, but physical, mental, emotional, financial, sexual abuse, all of these red flags to run far, fast, and away immediately. Do not listen to excuses. Do not listen to apologies. Run and get out of the situation if you are in an abusive situation. Second to last, if you are changing yourself, you're changing your hobbies, you're changing your social circle, you're changing your job, you're changing the amount of time you spend by yourself, you're changing the core of who you are to keep a relationship going, that's unhealthy. Because you will lose yourself quicker with every change you make, and once you've lost yourself, if the relationship doesn't work, and usually if you have to change yourself to be in a relationship, chances are it's not going to work long term anyway. And if it does, it's going to be super unhealthy and uncomfortable. But if you're changing yourself to keep something going, yeah, you're in an unhealthy situation. And then the simplest one to close, and that is you're unhappy. Look, we know what a happy relationship feels like. We've all been in one, we hope. We've all experienced those feelings of euphoria followed by the feelings of security. If you don't have feelings of security with your partner anymore, if you don't have the desire to see them anymore on a consistent basis because you're more worried about the discord and discomfort that you have in dealing with them than you are in actually enjoying them, yeah, it's time to run away. It's time to get out of there because you're in an unhealthy situation. So for those that are interested, I do coaching around relationships a lot. I work both with couples and individuals. If you feel you've been in a healthy relationship and you want to just verify that it is healthy, or if you feel you've been in an unhealthy relationship and you want to break free and begin to heal, reaching out through Twitter at PO Perception or here on YouTube, a great way to do that. In any event, I encourage you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.